You come here often?
I totally forgot you were filming.
Wow, absolutely. Wait, do you even have your camera?
Take photos.
They always do better, so that's how I feel about it. Absolutely, absolutely. This is where I'm gonna do an intro, you know?
Oh, bro.
Absolutely, why not? What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we will be talking about everything you need to know before wrapping your car. The pros, the cons, what problems I ran into, and also we're with the boy Jordan right here, so we'll check out his car too. But hopefully you guys get some good information from me before fully committing and wrapping your car yourself. So anyway, let's get into it. All right, so before we get into everything you need to know, I guess it'd be a good idea to kind of do a little walk around, explain what I did, and so you guys can kind of get a gist of what's going on. So obviously, this car behind me, it is wrapped. It took me probably about 3 weeks or so to do it by myself. Obviously not every day, but just over time I got it done. Probably about 7 days total of actual work on the car. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But here we go. This is wrapped with Avery. It is their gloss white. I've used both Avery and 3M. I've had way better luck with Avery. It's a lot easier to use. Even like wrap shops say that as well. So that's where we're at. I mean, overall, I would say it came out maybe like 8.5 or 9 out of 10. There's small little details that, you know, it's kind of inevitable with wrap that are gonna kind of get messed up. But I mean, overall, obviously just a quick walk around. Like, you guys can't even really tell where I messed up, I guess you could say. So this is just a quick little walk around. And also the roof is wrapped as well, but it's actually 3M. This is when I tried 3M stuff, and it was really hard to kind of maneuver. So I don't know, I'll probably replace that with Avery, not gonna lie. And that's pretty much where we're at. Now, as far as the hardest things about the car to wrap, I think that'd be a good segue to go into now. So probably the stuff that I had the hardest time with is definitely going to be the rear bumper, and also, of course, the front bumper. The front bumper is what I just did very recently, and it is all one piece, or at least the majority of. It's really intricate, and I found the easiest way to kind of get around doing a front bumper is actually working from the middle and have that as, like, I guess, like your pull away point, or I don't even know the best way to describe it. Pretty much, I used it of a 10-foot piece, and I just worked my way, and I got it stuck all in the middle. And then once I got it stuck in the middle, then I actually worked my way up and worked my way down. That's probably the best tip I can give as far as wrapping bumpers. And then as far as the doors, I worked from the very top to the bottom. And then as far as this little like intricate stuff like the door handles, you need to fully take apart. You could check out my other videos on how I did that. And but I mean, overall it came out pretty good, minus there's obviously it's a little dirty there, but either way, I mean, it did come out pretty good. It's all, of course, one piece for this part, and then this was taken apart and done as well. Now, another quick tip on just making your life easier when wrapping is you want to do it right. You want to do it once, and pretty much what I mean by that is you can get away with wrapping the car and not taking it pretty much fully apart, but I would highly recommend literally taking absolutely everything apart. Yeah, you could try to like tuck the wrap into like the window trim here and stuff like that, but it's just not going to come out the best. So I would recommend taking the extra time and literally taking every single piece apart so that you can tuck the wrap perfectly under stuff like this, under stuff like this, and then also little stuff like that. Like I said, you can tuck it in here, but you're gonna thank yourself later for taking everything apart and just kind of taking your time with it. Obviously, you know, taking out taillights, taking off the bumper, taking off the flares, taking off the side skirts. It's going to take that extra time, but it's definitely gonna be worth it in the end. Now that we got those quick tips out of the way, now I'm gonna talk about the necessary tools that you will need to effectively wrap your car and just kind of give you the biggest advantage. I would say number one is a heat gun. And that pretty much made the absolute difference for me with doing little stuff like this, because you're going to have to stretch the wrap, and the only way you can get it there quickly is with a heat gun. I tried to use a hairdryer before and it just didn't really get hot enough. So I don't know, I'm sure people have used that before, but I don't know, heat gun, definitely recommended. Number two is going to be like a felt like squeegee. That's definitely going to be a huge help when doing large pieces like this. Once you get the wrap really heated up, it's just so much easier to do that, obviously, instead of using your fingers. Maybe even get 2 of those, because about halfway through I noticed that it pretty much just kind of started to die and the felt kind of started to fall apart just because of how much I used it. And then number 3 is going to be a vinyl cutter. That's definitely going to be a huge help as far as cutting the really large pieces, and you're just going to find it really handy. And I did get all this stuff on Amazon. I'll throw some links down in the description. And then a couple razor blades as well, preferably if you can get one that's actually on like a little stick as well. I don't even know what you would call that. Pretty much like a long knife. It's going to get you, you know, clean edges like this that are going to be really hard just with a regular razor blade. And then, oh, also the magnets. Everyone kept asking about the magnets that actually hold it on the car. That was a huge help when doing really large pieces like this. And also you can use those magnets as places where it goes from metal to another panel. So what I did is I would use the magnets on the very edge, and then I would know where the edge was, and then I could use my vinyl cutter to cut the perfect shape about maybe, you know, 4 inches around, just to make your life easier with stuff like that. So like I said, I'm going to link all those down in the description, but that's pretty much all the tools that I needed to effectively wrap my car. Now, another quick tip to make your wrap job look as professional as possible is obviously in the prep as well. So every time I did a new panel, I would make sure that I would get it freshly cleaned, of course, and also I clay barred it, which I think is a really big thing to make everything look really smooth. So I literally went section by section, and right before I wrapped it, I would get a super nice clay bar, and then right before I was literally putting the vinyl on, I would do a last final wipe with a fresh microfiber, just to make sure that the surface was as clean as possible. Another tip, I would say making sure your edges are as clean as possible. When you open the door, obviously a lot of people are going to be looking, and that's something that obviously I was kind of concerned about. So I try to get my door lines as absolute clean as possible, just to make it look that much more professional. I don't know, I mean, it's a huge thing for sure. And also making sure that your edges are held down perfectly. So it's pretty much like a post heating. So after you are pretty much done wrapping, obviously you're going to do the trimming, and then once you do that, then you want to get the final post heat on the wrap edges, just to make sure it's going to hold down. You heat up that adhesive, and then you just kind of run your finger along, making sure it's stuck down as perfect as possible. And you want to make sure you do that on all of the edges, just so you have no issues with that coming up. So far so good. I've had no edges come up. So I think that's pretty much it as far as the quick tips that I can think of and the personal problems that I've ran into with wrapping my car. Another pretty cool thing is this is my second wrap. So the first one that I did, I actually, you can ceramic coat wrap, which is really cool. Some people definitely probably maybe wonder that. And I actually got it done, and it worked really well, which was actually really surprising, and it protected the wrap for a while. So that's also what I'm going to be doing on this car. I wish I'd done it a little bit earlier, because now the car is dirty, because I was just excited to get it driving. But that's definitely something that I would recommend doing after you wrap your car, is obviously you want to protect it. I'm probably going to have it like this just for a little bit, but just for that extra protection, I do think it's pretty cool that you can ceramic coat it, you can wax it, you can even buff it, which is just pretty cool that you could do that literally just with a vinyl, because so many people actually think that I painted my car that are like not really into cars. So I don't know, I think that's really cool, and something that I would definitely recommend doing if you end up wrapping your car. Now, another good tip that the boy Jordan actually thought of is, I don't even know if I worded this correctly in the beginning, but essentially having a plan of attack when obviously wrapping your car. And I think probably the best recommendation that I have is starting with the easiest stuff to wrap and leaving the hardest to the end. That's why I left the bumpers, both rear and front, for the last thing, because I knew obviously by that time I would be pretty proficient in wrapping, and obviously having the harder pieces go last, I'll have a better plan of attack. You'll get the tips, you'll get how the wrap reacts to heat and stuff like that. So I would probably say, if you do have a Subaru like this, probably the easiest things to wrap for me was actually the door, because it literally is super flat. It only has one little line here. I do recommend using heat once you get to this area here, but I would say maybe start with the doors, and then once you go from the doors, I would maybe do front fenders, and also hood scoop was actually pretty easy, and then work your way to the bigger stuff like the one piece for the 3/4 panel and stuff like that. And then as far as like small stuff like that, that's no big deal, just like this little edges there. But that's definitely a really good idea, and I feel like something that maybe not a lot of people cover is, you know, start with the really easy stuff, get good at that, so then when you get to the hard stuff, it should be easy. All right, so I think that is all of my tips I can think of, all the recommendations that I can give you. I guess the last thing is I did buy 65 feet of the wrap. I did get it on Amazon. It was about $650 shipped. That was a little bit more than I needed, but I bought a lot just in case I messed up. So I guess that is the last thing. That's the price, that's how much you need. And then, like I said, I'm gonna put in the description every tool that I used just to make my life easier. Recommend heat gun, just saying. So I think that's pretty much gonna be it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. Let me know what you think of the new color. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. I think that's gonna be it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.